Well, greetings. This is Module 7 of WFED 6270. You've made it to the very last module. What we're going to talk about today is nothing more than the marketing plan project, which is the project, the very last project, kind of the capstone project that you have for this course. So, what is it I'm asking you to do? Well, it's worth 150 points, and I'm asking you to do a 5-year marketing or improvement plan, or both. And so you're going to develop a 5-year marketing plan that will help remedy the short and long-term problems facing your CTE program. So we've highlighted a lot of strategies you can use to market your program. Unfortunately, as you probably are already realizing, this is a lot of work, and it's hard to implement all these strategies at once. And so you've got to kind of identify at least a 5-year plan on how you're going to implement these marketing initiatives or improve your program in some way. So, what is it I'm asking to do? Well, first you're going to have some kind of introductory information about your program, right? And then you're going to have a kind of the market that you really want to target. So you're going to have an explanation of them and identify the peripheral market that influences your target market. So if your target market is students, then what is the peripheral market for that? Well, it's going to be parents and their peers, and so it's important that you understand that there are influencers to your target market, and so I want you to identify those. And then you're going to talk about some strengths and weaknesses of your programs, and so this is one of the very first things you did in this particular course, and that is identify your strengths and weaknesses. So you're going to want to copy and paste those, or maybe as you've gone through this process, you've learned some other strengths and weaknesses, and so maybe you mention those as well. And then I want you to talk about the benefits of your current program to students. So identify some direct benefits that you could acquire by taking your courses. And then now we're going to get kind of into the meat and bones of what you're going to be doing. And that is, one is you're going to come up with what's called a problem statement. And that's where you identify your short, or your immediate, as we've been calling them, and long-term problems that you realize your program needs to address. So for example, your short-term problem may be that your website needs to be updated. And your long-term problem may be that you need to increase your business and industry sponsorship or support. And I want you to, just to help you or force you, identify at least 5 problems, one for each year of your plan. And I want you to list them in the order of need, either most urgent to least urgent, right? Because that's the order that you should be. If you've got a very urgent problem, you should be addressing that year 1, and the least urgent should be more of your long term, and so it's going to be a little bit further down the road. And then for your 5-year plan, starting with the most immediate need, describe how you plan to remedy that problem. In other words, what marketing or improvement effort or strategy or idea do you plan to implement to help correct the problem? For example, if your most immediate need is to improve your website, how do you plan to do that? What needs to happen to realize your goal? When does it need to happen? And in other words, you're going to create a timeline, and I'll show you an example on the next slide. In addition, how do you plan on identifying if whatever you plan to do actually worked? How are you going to evaluate the success of that particular initiative? So, let me give you an example. When you get to this part of the project and you're starting to break down each year, it may look like this. So, in my example, I said that we need to improve the website, its functionality and its appearance. And so in year 1, that's what we're going to work on. And so I have my goals along with the timeline. So one is I've got to improve the homepage. And so I actually have literally a time when which I'm making that a goal to get done. So August 2018, I'm going to choose a color palette. I'm going to take pictures of the classroom and lab. I'm going to develop, in September, I'm going to develop a video introducing the professors and the students in the classroom. And then I'm going to complete the editing of that video by October, and I'm going to post those updates to the website. Boom, I'm done with improving the homepage, right? So I want you to do that for each one of your goals. You're going to go through and you're going to map out a realistic timeline for your very first year, right? And then at the very end, you'll notice that I have my goal evaluation. So what I'm saying is I'm asking the question, how am I going to know that this has worked? So I have a plan to have at least 2 colleagues and 3 students review the changes. Suggested changes will be reviewed and possibly enacted as soon as provided, right? So they're going to review the changes that I made and then provide me with some feedback. And then I'm going to decide if I want to make the changes, make any more changes based on that feedback, right? So this is what I expect to see for each year, is that you have at least one, kind of initiative, and then you have goaled out that initiative with time. All right. So if you have any questions about what we're asking you to do on this, don't be afraid to contact me. If not, I wish you the best luck in developing your 5-year plan, and it's been a pleasure having you in the classroom.